the Texas Republicans. Woo! How are y'all doing? All right, good. Don't hold back, you know. It's good to be among 10,000 like-minded, liberty-loving, God-fearing, gun-owning, pro-life, property right-defending, socialism-hating, oil and gas drilling Republicans who are better for it, not bitter about it. Now, keeping in mind that blessed are the brief, for they shall be re-elected. For the next 10 minutes or so, I'm your speaker. It's my job to speak, and it's your job to listen. However, if you get done before I do, feel free to vacate the hall. Won't be the first time it's happened. You know, I'm told that it's appropriate to tell a joke, but instead of doing that, I'm just going to quote a little paraphrase from Mark Twain when he said, "I don't tell jokes, I just watch the Democrats and report the facts." You know, this entree song there about don't back down, you know, Texans don't back down. In 1836, we had names like Bowie and Crockett and Travis, joined by names like Seguin, Esparza, Rodriguez, and De Zavala, and places like Alamo and San Jacinto and Goliad, and they did not back down. From 1836 to 2010, millions of Texans have served their state and their nation, and are today serving in the war on terror, including my oldest son, Captain Travis Patterson, United States Marine Corps. You know, I don't back down either. When I graduated from Texas A&M in the top 70, when I graduated the top 75% of my class there, crammed 4 years into only 5 years of study. When I finished at Texas A&M, I joined the United States Marine Corps. I served 24 years active in reserve, including a tour in Vietnam, and I came home. And then in 1990, I find myself as a Republican candidate for the Texas Senate in a district in which Republicans were not well received, shall we say. They said I couldn't win. They said there was no way this guy is going to beat the 30-year Democrat incumbent dean of the Texas Senate. Well, they were right. I didn't. I came in second though, out of 2. And on election night, when the press came up and said, "Do you concede?" I said, no. I congratulate my opponent for his victory here tonight, but I declare my candidacy for the next election in the same district right now, and we start tomorrow morning. So we came back in 1992, and we won. And then we had a court-ordered redistricting, made my Democrat district more Democrat. I was referred to as deadbeat Patterson, nice guy, but he ain't coming back. We prevailed by an even larger margin. We went back to the Senate. And in 1995, I was the author of Senate Bill 60, the Texas Concealed Handgun Law. The more of you that are packing, the safer I feel here today, I will tell you that. And if you recall, though, the debate was pretty intense. Every daily newspaper in the state of Texas, without exception, said that if we pass that bill, it will be wild, wild west, shootouts at every four-way stop, and end of the civilization as we know it. They were all wrong. It's been 15 years, and Texas is safer because of it. I'm reminded of another Mark Twain quote where he said, "If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. But if you do read the newspaper, you're misinformed." I would like to substitute editorial order. You know, shortly after being elected land commissioner in 2002, I was sued by the Sierra Club, our friends. They wanted to shut down exploration of oil and gas on the Texas coast. They said we were killing the turtles. I said, no, we're not stopping. We're not backing down. Just as we didn't back down on the Second Amendment as a member of the Texas Senate, we're not backing down on offshore exploration and production along the Texas coast. We didn't, we won, and we're producing more oil and gas than before, and the turtles are thriving. A few years later, you know, how many have heard of the Christmas Mountains? Well, we had a little controversy in West Texas. There's 9,300 acres that some folks wanted me to transfer to the National Park Service. I was initially open to the idea until I found out that the National Park Service says, oh no, you can't exercise your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms in a national park. And I said, no guns, no deal. The question was, should I transfer 9,300 acres of the sovereign state of Texas to a federal agency that ignores the Constitution and our Second Amendment rights? No! I think you're with me on that culture war. We have a President, Barack Obama, who just recently, I'm proud to say, has recognized that when the national anthem plays, or when the flag passes in front, that you're supposed to put your hand over your heart. That's a new revelation. I was a young Marine second lieutenant stationed in Quantico, Virginia, and there was an instructor, was a first lieutenant. His name was Oliver North. Ollie North taught me several things. But one of the things he taught me, he said, friendly fire from your own troops, can kill you just as dead as enemy fire. And the problem we have today is there's too much friendly fire coming from the current administration in Washington. But if you don't believe the threat is real, there's a company called Wilder Publications that describes himself as publisher of books for children and young adults, and they published a reprint of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. That's pretty simple. But on page 1 is a disclaimer. Remember, this is a reprint of our Constitution and Declaration of Independence. And the disclaimer that they compelled themselves to put in there says this book is a product of its time and does not reflect the same values as it would if written today. Parents might wish to discuss with their children how views on race, gender, sexuality, personal relations have changed before allowing their children to read this classic work. I mean, that's it. So if you don't think the threat is real, you're mistaken. How do we win this November? It's pretty simple. We take the offensive on issues that are important to the average Texan, not just the issues that are important to us over the next 2 days, but taxes, education, all those things that the average Texan who really doesn't think of themselves as a Democrat or Republican, we take and talk about the environment, and that's not true. Texas is number 1 in the United States among all states for installed wind power. Number 2 is Iowa. We are environmentalists, but the difference is while the Democrats are environmental radicals, we're environmentalists that believe in sound economic, policy-based environmentalism. We outreach to Hispanic, Asian, African American, and those old Reagan Democrats, and not only during election time, and not only as voters, but as candidates. As someone who, if you think like us, we want you to carry the banner just like we do. And we remember that in 1775, a gentleman named Thomas Paine wrote an essay that said, in part, these are the times that try men's souls. The sunshine soldier and the summer patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from their duty. But he that stands their duty now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. Let me close by saying, in the words of Winston Churchill, 1940, never, never, never give up. God bless you. God bless you.